start it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Lee, and we're on the game of tongues, where we work on speech anxiety in all its gross forms. And right now I'm talking to my buddy Stu. Say hello, Stu.
Hello, everybody.
Stu is from Ireland. He is indeed. And he has a little bit of a cold right now. And but he can still hold forth. He has, let's see, started stuttering at age 7 to as much as 60% of his words, and we've been talking since last November, off and on. Though we really haven't talked that many times. We've only talked really 3 or 4 times, all told.
Yeah,
So, which means Stu is a great worker because he read the book and he got onto it like a white on rice. He just blanketed this thing
I did.
and stopped his stuttering. You want to tell us what you did, how you did it?
Um, well, first of all, obviously, it all came from the book. I had read the book. I think before I spoke to you, I'd read it twice before we ever spoke. You were very busy, and then I think you took a break for a couple of weeks. Um, by the time I'd spoken to you, I'd read it twice, and I was just reading aloud constantly, positive affirmations, using the crutches as and when I needed them. Um, in terms of the technique, my technique is probably quite good. I think in terms of my speech, it's more internal for me. It's like the dark cloud that's always kind of there in and around me.
It'll
Lee,
die though. It'll
yeah,
die because you're
I
not
really,
feeding it. You're not putting any logs on the fire.
yeah.
It's
And I
going to
can't
burn
remember
out.
the last time I had a bad incident. I can't remember. I would be very hard on myself, but I'm trying to learn to let that go. I'm just sort of recommitting and kind of getting back on the horse. And if I do realize that, um, you know, stumbles over words sometimes are not the worst thing, and everybody
Get
does
them.
it. It is what it is. But I'm very, we were speaking on email, I'm still very keen to continue speaking to you because I do want to learn to love to speak.
Exactly.
That's what I want,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
Because then I can put this to bed. Then,
Yeah.
that's kind of dealt with. And because there's kind of too much in the world to be concerned about than to be worrying
Oh,
about something like this. I
yeah.
want this sorted. So,
Yeah.
but no, I've made great strides. Um, I'd like to do a bit of public speaking. That's my big thing, Lee. I want to be able to do that. I don't want to ever. I want to
And
just be able to
enjoy
come
it.
out the wall. You
And
know
enjoy doing it.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I tell you, the more you, I would say the two crutches that are most useful for bridging that gap from where you stop bad incidents to loving to speak are crutch 11, speaking like a king, and crutch 13, no crutch at all, just letting the words, just letting your feelings come out, just get out of their way. As you're speaking to me right now, totally fluently, you're not thinking about your words at all, and I could tell if you were. And I'm
Yeah,
not thinking about my words. I'm just letting my feelings fall out of my mouth. I don't need to tell my body, my brain, how to breathe or how to swallow or how to blink. And I don't need to tell it what words to pick. I don't need to do that. So what I need to focus on is the feeling, the positive emotions that I have when I speak, and the way I speak in terms of enunciating my syllables and speaking slowly enough so people can grasp what I'm saying, and inserting full stops to give the reader, the listener, a chance to reflect on what I'm saying rather than coming at them like a machine gun of words, like so many young people do. And you're a pretty young guy yourself, but you're not a 20-year-old anymore. And those are the ones that talk the fastest. I have a bunch of grandchildren around that age, and they all talk like that. I can't understand a word they say, and they don't stutter, but I can't understand them. So, speaking like a king, softly, slowly, using extreme pronunciation, thinking about your feelings, your positive emotions, and expressing them when you speak, focusing on how can I be more convincing in what I say. And it's by modulating syllables and words, pausing, changing the voice register, that's modulation too, and smiling when I speak, conveying positive feelings as I do it, and inserting lots of full stops. That's what Crutch 13 teaches us. And if you would practice that, whether you do it one element at a time, I'll speak softly for a while and see how that goes. Then I'll speak slowly and see how that goes. And then I will speak with extreme pronunciation. I didn't say elongating. I didn't say that. That sounds like a robot. I said extreme pronunciation. That's all I said. Pronounce all the syllables. And then inject your feelings, positive ones only. Negative feelings, we know, hurt us. They hurt other people. They need to be changed into a positive structure somehow or omitted. And then smiling, as you know, communicates, it sends a happy message, an endorphin type message to every cell in your 30 trillion cells in your whole body from your top of your head to your toes. Every time you smile, it does that. It's like a drug. It's like an opiate. It's and the doctors, the medical world says that it's like an endorphin is like an opiate, but you're creating it, so it's not injurious. It's not habit forming. It's nothing negative. It's something you are creating. So smiling is a very important thing when you speak.
Yeah.
And then using full stops. Where we get in trouble when we speak is when we talk in a continuum and we never take a break. When we stop, when we have natural breaks, when we insert full stops, every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, 6, we just throw in a full stop. Doesn't matter where. And then we continue. People love to wait. And when you stop talking, they start listening. They strain to hear you when you whisper. Use your soft voice. Sometimes whisper an important point. The most important point I have to say today is this. And make them wait. They will eat from your hand. The softer you come, the more you make them wait, the more attention they will pay to everything you say. The more they'll remember, the better they'll like your talk. Now, to learn to love to speak, you simply need to push your envelope, whatever it is. Wherever you begin to feel pressure, is it talking to 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, 10 people? Around a circular table, around a rectangular table, at the front of the table, we're using a podium with a mic. Is it on the phone? Where is it? Where do
I
you
would
have a
struggle.
problem? Where
I
do
would
you feel
struggle to
pressure?
speak to people on the phone in front of others. Would be a big thing for me. And then I take meetings in my role. I'm like the managing director of my company, so I take meetings as in I run them, but it still it kind of fills me with fear, you know. Um, but yeah, speaking on the phone in front of people is a big thing for me. It's a
Well, do you have an affirmation that relates to the phone?
I actually have many an affirmation, but not one that relates to the
Well,
phone.
why don't you shouldn't have more than 10 affirmations at a time
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
can't get through 20 times in a reasonable time
yeah.
period. So you shouldn't have more than 10 on your list at a
Right.
given
Just
time.
sort of taking notes here, Lee. Don't be
Yes,
thinking of.
absolutely. And no more than 10 affirmations at a given time. Pick the 10 things that you think are being most, that are speaking to you the most at the moment. And one of those should be, I love to talk on the phone in front of people. That should be one of them.
Okay.
And and then now, when you're in trouble, that is, you feel pressure, the first thing is talk less. I didn't say talk, not talk, I said talk less. Say just all you got to, that's the only instruction your mind needs. You don't have to give a speech to answer a question that has a yes, no, or an I don't know answer. Somebody says, what do you want for lunch? You say, don't know, how about you? They say, what did you do this summer? Went fishing. What did you do? You could, when you're under pressure, talk less, ask more questions. Keep people talking. Now, in terms of the phone, you know, what is when we have a medicine like penicillin, what is it? It's a little bit of the disease that we take, and it builds up an immunity quickly. It attacks your system, attacks it, and it builds up an immunity to it. So when you have a problem with, you don't like to talk on the phone in front of people, that's what you need to do. Not in front of 10,000 people or something, but you need to begin to do it as much as you can. There's one person around, get on the phone. There's two people around, get on, make a quick call and enjoy it. And while you're doing it, use a crutch the entire time you're talking. I like crutch 11. It's a combination of elements. I get to pick which ones I focus on the most. Truthfully, if I focus on any one enough, softly, slowly, extreme pronunciation, passion, smiling, I won't stutter. If I focus on any one of those elements enough, I won't. Much less if I've trained myself to make them all kick in at the same time. When I'm on the phone, I'm talking softly. I'm pronouncing all of my syllables. I'm feeling, being really expressive in what I say. I'm smiling even into the phone because it affects me and it probably is picked up by others, maybe even the person on the other end of the phone. I wouldn't put the power of thought past anything. You know, the scientists have been saying since really the 1990s that some physicists, that all of matter is made up of strings. The string theory, have you heard that?
No.
Well, that's one of the theories that, and it's a by a substantial school of prominent physicists. And now they're saying, some of them, that the strings may be nothing more than thought. Ah, imagine that. If thought is the only thing real in the universe, and that all matter is a creation of thought.
2 seconds, Lee.
Yeah,
Sorry. Hold on.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Sorry, I'm just on a call, man. Do you want me to get that for you? Thanks. Thanks. Sorry, Lee.
No problem. So it may be that 50 years from today, the physicists are going to be saying very out front, all of matter is created by thought. In any event, you and I know that what Caprio said, and he's not alone, he was just early in the curve. When he wrote in 1957, which I put in the dedication of the book to you, the reader, the dedication, when he wrote what he did there, which is now common consensus among psychiatrists, psychologists, and the like. What did he say? Most of us go through life knowing only half of ourselves. So we use only half of our abilities because we are strangers to ourselves. We have free choice to accept or reject thoughts. Nothing compels us to think anything except our own desires. So use your mental switch and dictate your thoughts. Believe that you can improve, and you will. You and I are our thoughts. That's what we really are. We're not really the flesh and bones. Our thoughts become our words become our deeds become our events, and our events become what our life represents. But it all starts with thought. And that's where you and I are in control. You and I can write the programming for our minds the same way we write it for software for a computer. But most of us don't do it. We abdicate control of our minds. We allow it to willy-nilly accept thoughts and events from all around the universe into our heads. We're an open vessel. We accept it all, and then we struggle with it, trying to figure, why am I depressed? Why am I bored? Why am I angry? Why am I jealous? Why am I mean? Why am I this? Why am I that? These are all things that just come in. But it's like we don't steer our own ship. As I always say to my grandchildren, we're all train wrecks waiting to happen. It's like we go out in busy traffic on a busy highway and go 100 miles an hour, let go of the steering wheel and say, I hope it works out, world. No, it's not going to work out. We're going to wreck along the way lots of times because we're not holding on to the steering wheel. And you're not stuttering now because you're holding on to that part of your steering wheel. And now we're trying to get you to, you and me and everyone, myself included, first and foremost, because I don't do it perfectly in any way, shape, or form, but I try. I do auto-suggestions or mind self-hypnosis every day, and I work on my problems, the things that are bothering me. Not speech, because speech doesn't bother me. I love speaking. But back to your loving to speak, it's only a question of exposure. But you do it, if this is your comfort zone, you want to expand it by 10%. Now it's here. And then you want to expand it by 10 more, and it's here. And 10 more, and it's here, and it's here, until there are no boundaries. What it says on the bottom of my book is absolutely true, and it's patent logic. It's irrefutable. If you can say one word anywhere, anytime, you can say any word anywhere, anytime. You know that's true. And you're not going to put up with it anymore. And when you have any difficulty on the horizon, when Satan stuttering tries to climb back on your shoulders and start whispering in your ear kind of thing, stop talking, take a 2 count, use a crutch, and continue. Do not force words. Ever. This doesn't mean you won't make mistakes, because you will. So what? Unless it appears as a disability, what, that's too much. When you appear disabled, that's a different story. That's a bad incident. We can't have that at all, ever. We have to forgive ourselves for minor incidents. We don't have to have a lot of them. And believe me, the more you work on crutch 11, the less minor incidents you're going to have. And then just keep expanding your universe. Raise your hand to talk in difficult situations. Don't say a lot, just a bit. And get comfortable with it. Next time, say a little bit more. Join a speaking club like Toastmasters. We're trying to put one together online, and I hope you'll join that. I'll let you know when it's up and running.
Yeah. I will.
Because it's going to be aimed at people who've had speech anxiety in one form or have it in one form or another, and we're just going to work on that and work on loving to speak and having fun, sharing experiences and that kind of thing in a semi-formal venue, all online, all done through your computer from your home. So
perfect.
It's going to be easy.
No, I'm definitely up for that.
So what are you doing now on a daily basis, Stuart, for your speech?
At the minute, I try and read everything out loud. That's my thing. Text messages, emails, different types of things. The whole crutch 11 thing, I feel like I do that now. I try and break things down into small chunks and use extreme pronunciation and stuff. So I kind of do those things. Affirmations. I do affirmations every day. Anytime I'm in the car is kind of my trigger to do affirmations. So I do those every day. I have a recording on my phone, so I play it in the car and then I say it alongside myself, which seems to help a lot. I teach a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, which is something that I've only just kind of taken on in the past 4 months. So I find when I'm on my way to that, I do a lot of my affirmations on the way to that, and I always find that the class goes really well. So that's what I'm doing.
That sounds excellent. Excellent. And I think people who have a problem after they post a success story are generally people who get off the fluency wagon totally, close the book on it, and forget about the whole process. And unfortunately, most people still have lingering fears of it, and they tend to grow. And of course, fear, as you know, on section 16 of my book, which says post-cure war against fear, that's really aimed at this subject. Fear is not stuttering. Don't ever think it is. It's not. And fear is a lot easier to beat than stuttering. If you can avoid stuttering, which you're perfectly capable of doing, and you are doing and have done, as I do and many others, when you can do that, there's no reason for fear, but that doesn't mean it'll go away overnight. It's been there a long time. So you have to keep, every time you have that fear thought, you've got to drown it in a flood of contrary positive affirmations. I love to speak. I love to say my name, Stuart, and I love talking on the phone in front of people and so forth.
When we last spoke, it was, you were asking me about my success story, which has now been posted.
And beautifully written, I might say. Anyone listening to this, by all means, go check out Stuart's story on speech anxiety anonymous, because it's brilliant.
Thank you. He very much. When you actually said to me something, it was you have to speak it. You have to say that you've cured it. You have to say yourself cured, and that's something that when I didn't. I'm saying it now that I have definitely self-cured, 100%, but I didn't before, and I feel like if you don't do that, if you don't speak it into existence, then you won't ever really beat that fear.
Exactly. I think that's perfectly said.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. I've never said it that way exactly, and it's well said. I hope lots of people hear you listen to this and hear you say that.
Yeah,
it's so important.
It has to be said. It has to come out of your mouth. You have
Yeah.
to say I've self-cured, and if you
Yeah.
don't, then you won't really have until
Yeah.
you've got the courage to say that. So
You know, it's interesting, Stuart. A lot of people won't post a success story ever, ever. And they're always saying, well, I'm not quite ready because there's that little doubt in the back of their mind. You know, I had one girl, she hadn't stuttered in a year. I still couldn't get her to post. And, yeah, and I just said, I tried to tell her, I said, look, it's part of the curing process is to admit that you're cured. You got to give yourself the check mark, the star, the trophy, the pat on the back. And it doesn't mean your speech is perfect. It doesn't mean that you don't have any fear of speaking. Most fluent people have fear of speaking. It's just a question of where and when. They do, most people. My mother was president of everything she was ever in. And she was in Who's Who in American Women back in the day when Who's Who Marquise was a big deal. And she was in Who's Who in American Women in the world. And because she was president of this and president of that and president of the other thing, she always she had a lot of speech anxiety. She did not stutter, but she was absolutely panicked when she had to give a talk. And my father was an attorney, and he would coach her and rehearse her, and they'd doodle drills on the shortest talks, you know. And
yeah,
then, and I remember hearing her a couple of times. I went to functions where she was getting an award or something, but she had this problem all her life, and she never stuttered. And so, I mean, my father used to say, if you don't have butterflies before you go on, you won't be any good.
it's true. I would agree. I would agree with that.
So, but that
Definitely.
doesn't mean you need to be afraid of words. No, you're not afraid of words.
Yeah,
You know what to do with words. You can use them or you can skip them. You can spell them. You can modulate them. You can whisper them. You can choose a different word. You can put something in front of it and connect it. Another word or sound. There's no word you can't handle. I don't care what it is or where you are, as long as you don't try and force it or keep repeating it to avoid saying the next word. You can't do that.
yeah,
Better to stop talking. Take a 2 count. Use a crutch. I'm just thinking about being really expressive. Be expressive and smile while you do it so they don't think you're mad. You won't stutter. You can only stutter when you focus on stuttering. When you turn your back on stuttering, you're not going to stutter. You never will. And you will stop talking and you will focus on something else and you will continue. In short bursts, you'll keep it simple. You won't talk a lot until you feel totally comfortable. When you talk in a soft voice, you will feel more comfortable than when you talk in your regular voice. When you whisper, you'll even feel more comfortable. Oh, you can't whisper. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Right into the mic. They'll all hear you. It's not a problem. They won't care. They won't think it's strange. No, they won't. They're going to be straining to hear what you said. They'll be busy. And I always be thinking, I love doing this, man. I love this. I'm sharing and I'm helping move the ball in life down the road. It's helping not just me, I'm helping other people as I go. Family, friends, workers, bosses, employees. Helping. I'm helping. I need to be fluent to produce my maximum capabilities. And I will be fluent. I am fluent. I love being fluent. I love to speak. It's a wonderful thing.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I hope someday you'll have some time to help us coach a little bit
I would love to. I would love to,
because
Lee.
you'd be good. You'd be good.
Yeah, I would. I'd like to help people.
And you
I
know
would.
something? All my coaches, I have 3 certified coaches now, really certified. I mean, I trust them with anybody. Two of them are women, and one's a guy in Spain. They're all a few years younger than you. They're all around. Two of them are around 30, and one's around 24. And they're good.
Yeah.
And they swear that coaching has just done so much for their speech.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're
It does.
sitting there analyzing, you're listening to someone trying to say, what can I think of? What would I do in their shoes?
Yeah.
You know, and you're racking your brain, and it brings back everything you ever did.
Yeah.
And it's all a little different. I just did something very hard yesterday. I don't know if it recorded well or not, but it's on there. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's I had a woman named Deanne and her son named Landry, who's 9. And it was she stutters, though she doesn't visibly stutter on there. I know she stutters, and she told me she did. And no doubt this boy, picked it up from her, and he's got a pretty serious case, and he's 9 years old. And the drills that I took that kid through, and he's constantly pulling at his hair. A lot of people they do facial twitches and they do all kinds of strange stuff. This kid is constantly pulling at his hair. I didn't say anything to him about it yet, but I took him through drills, and you know something? He was fluent in every single drill. And I said to his mom, I said, "Deanne, do you hear Landry?" "Yeah." Because I know he stutters on virtually every word. When he wasn't talking to me, I'm sure he stuttered on almost every word. And he's 9 years old, and he's on the road to shutting down, to being a 100% shut down blocker with no speech coming out at all. And so, what did I do? I got him. Whispering. I got him talking slowly. I got him using extreme pronunciation. I got him modulating. We played little games. I got him to rop the erst etter of any words as he would in his entence and eat right on awking umi. And it's an interesting. If it recorded, it was an interesting session because I've never had 2 stutterers on there at once. The mother and the child, and when somebody's 9, they can't do the things you've done. They can't listen to everything. They can't do the auto suggestions, and they can't read aloud the way you do. And
Yeah. It's difficult.
you
It's a
have to
different
teach
thing
them
for
the
the child
crutches.
to imagine. It's a
I
different
would say the
process.
hardest thing for most people is to learn to use the crutches, and unless they will, they're always thinking the crutches don't really work because they never use them enough to make them work. Now, what I try and get people to do now is to practice the crutch when 24/7 in conversations when they're not feeling a lot of pressure. Just try and use as many crutches as you can. Use
Yeah.
crutch 1 for a while, drop the first letter. Use crutch 2. Think of synonyms. Change your words a lot.
Yeah,
Number
I would have
3,
done that whenever I was reading aloud. I would have done that whenever I was reading aloud. I would have changed crutches on each page.
perfect.
Done that
And
a
so
lot.
that really helped you then.
Yeah.
Good, good. And
Yeah.
that's one way to do it. And at this point, do you know the crutches by number?
No.
Okay,
No.
all
No.
right. You're one of my poster guys, so it's achievement that you're candid and you say no. but you still are able to use them. I put a lot of heat on people now to learn them by number because I don't trust people to really learn them, you know. And they
Yeah.
say they know them, and they're using one crutch all the time. And of course, if you use one crutch all the time, you know, Satan can adjust. You know, if he only hears, yeah, I only have one move that you make. You only fake to the left, and then you go right every time. He gets the message. But when you
Yeah.
got all these different moves, you pass and you punt and you go left, you go right, you go back, you double fake, you don't fake at all. You know, you got so many moves, and that's why he can't keep up. He is slow and dim-witted. He cannot keep up. He can't.
There's probably four I would use all the time. I switch between the four. You know.
Crutch number 4.
No, I would use four crutches all of the time. So my main one would be speaking like a king. I do that pretty much all of the time.
What one is
Especially
that?
crutch 11.
Okay.
And then sort of basically speak in short, short increments. Um, then I would smile quite a bit too. If I know that it's a word, or if I feel a bit of pressure, I will drop the first syllable on it. I sometimes spell the word, and if it's a word that I'm going to struggle with, I change it up. I sort of change the word for something else, use like a synonym for it. So
I love it. I love it.
I'd use all them. I would use all them. They pretty much keep me from having any bad incidents, like just those ones. I feel a great deal when I slow down, just take it easy.
Exactly.
It flows. Um, I would talk. Where I'm from, Lee, we speak very quickly in Ireland. It's a it's an Irish thing, especially Northern Ireland. Northern Irish people talk even quicker. So you're kind of dragged into a Northern Irish conversation, which is just a million miles an hour. So that can be tough. But I slow it down, and
That makes you different. It
exactly, it makes you more
distinguishes
neutral.
you, and in a good way,
Yeah,
because people always understand what you say, and they don't understand what each other say a lot of the time. They can't.
yeah, yeah.
And you're going to come across, number one, when you speak slowly, you come across as someone who is in control of yourself. And that's something people admire because
That's
most
right.
people aren't in control of themselves. They're spinning. They're on the verge of spinning out of control right off the table. So many people go through their whole lives like that. We have to take control of what's going on in here. We can dictate our thoughts. It's a job. It's a daily job. It's a 24-hour-a-day job. And we won't bat 1,000, but we want to get as close to it as we can.
Yeah,
And just saying no to yourself, I won't have the third drink or the fifth drink, or I won't get in the car and drive when I'm drunk, or get in the car with someone who's driving who is drunk, or I won't steal something, or I won't lie about something, or whatever it is. We all have those same urges. The question is, what do we do about them?
yeah,
It comes down to discipline. It's hard. Getting up at the same time every day to get your job done. It's all part of the program. But we're happier when we're in control of ourselves.
absolutely, absolutely. When you kind of get yourself together, you know, you've got a plan in place. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't tell you, Lee, I'm climbing Kilimanjaro
You
in
didn't
November.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but I'm doing
When?
it for charity. For there's like there's a children's hospice close to me here. So I'm trying to raise some money for that. So I'm climbing Kilimanjaro.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Well, I
So
hope you'll keep me posted. I'd love to
I
know
will
how
do.
that
I will
goes,
do. I will
and
do.
send me some pictures.
100%. I
Is
will
there
do.
anything? I want to end this session, and I want to. Is there anything that you would like to say to the stuttering world out there? What would you tell them? What do you want to? What's your
Yeah.
message?
I'm just going to go back to something that I discussed earlier on because I think it's very important. If you go through the program and you get success from it, you need to speak the cure into existence. You need to have the courage to throw your hat over the wall and speak the cure into existence. Because if you don't, you'll stay small. And you don't want to stay small because that feeds the stammer. You want to be big and be brave enough to admit to yourself and be authentic and say, I'm cured. The
It's
most
a great
important
message.
thing. That's one of
You
the
know
most important.
something? Of all the people I've coached, and I have no idea how many it is, you're the first person that's ever said that to
So
me,
important.
and it's so important. I say it to my mates, but
Yeah.
I don't hear it back. You know, I
Yeah.
have to. A lot of them I have to practically beat them, with a broom
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
submission to get them to do it. And some people for
Because
some
they're too
reason.
low on themselves, Lee.
What?
They're too kind of low on themselves. They've been beating themselves up for years, and it's tough for people. And I'm the same. I don't give myself any credit. But you really have to start because when you don't give yourself credit for what you've achieved, then you really won't achieve it. You have to admit when you've done well. The big thing. So
Well, that is so important. I'm gonna write. That's gonna be the title of this video. Yeah. God, that's so important. I hope the sound recorded on this darn thing. Cross your fingers for me and for the
okay, I will do it.
listening public, whoever they are. And I'll add a link to this to your success story. I'll have my guy put that at the end. And one more thing, listen to what he said a month or
No
two
problem.
after he posted here, and that'll be helpful. Is there anything else you want to talk about today?
No, no, Lee, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I've really, really needed this chat. So I want to thank you very much for your time as always. It's always very good to speak
Well,
to you. So
you're very welcome, and it's been a pleasure to deal with you. I can't think of anyone that I've had more fun with, or that I've been prouder of, or seen take to the water more like a duck than you have. I mean, you've been great, and you give me hope, that you give me reason to hang in there and keep trying, because not everybody moves along at your speed, and some of them don't move along, and it gets hard. I've been working on a couple of those before you called, and so it's really nice to. It's refreshing for me, and it makes my day. Makes my week, makes my month, makes my year. It really does. So
that's good to hear.
thank
It's good
you,
to hear.
and keep up the good work. Stay in touch, and listen, when you want to Skype, do you want to just leave it that you'll shoot me an email a day or two in advance and say, do you have any time? You know,
We're actually booked in, Lee, for the second Saturday of every month.
okay, second Saturday of every.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
we're
that's
booked
booked
in.
in anyway. So I'm
Okay, that's
happy.
fine then. We'll leave it there. All right, mate. I will see you then.
Okay, Lee. All the
Take
best. Thanks, mate.
take
Bye bye.
take care. And that is Stuart, and what a case history he is. I'm so proud of him. He's just done great, and you can do it too, and you should. Don't cheat yourself. Live the fullest life you can. Do what Stuart's done. If he can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You can. Take care.